will never go away. It'll always be with me. And I think I saw somewhere the sadness is a reminder of how much he means to me.
Regina King just confirmed what fans have been whispering for weeks. Malcolm Jamal Warner didn't just pass away. He was taken out. And whatever he was about to reveal before his death clearly had somebody scared. Because the way this all played out was too clean, too sudden, and way too quiet. According to reports, he drowned in Costa Rica, but what those reports didn't mention was where he was staying, who he was with, or even how the death was reported in the first place. There were no details, just a short statement saying he died from accidental submersion. And then, silence. This is a man who didn't move recklessly. He wasn't spiraling. He wasn't hiding. Malcolm was grounded, respected, and still working. So for something like this to happen at this exact moment, it just doesn't sit right. What really pushed fans into theory mode was what he'd been working on. Malcolm had a memoir in progress, one that, according to close sources, named names directly. Not for clout, but to finally tell the truth after decades of watching the industry from the inside. The timing and how fast everything unfolded didn't just feel weird, it felt planned. And then came Regina King's reaction, which only made things more suspicious. The moment the news of Malcolm's death went public, Regina posted 2 quiet Instagram stories and then disappeared. No interviews, no captions, no statements. The first story showed Malcolm on a motorcycle, with the words, "Some people leave a lasting imprint, not just for who they were, but for the energy they carried." The second story simply read, "Ride in Power." At first glance, it looked like a simple tribute. But the more people read it, the more off it felt. She wasn't talking like someone reacting to a sudden accident. She was speaking like someone who already knew what this was. She never said rest in peace. She never mentioned drowning. There was no shock, no sadness, no, "I can't believe this happened." Instead, her words felt like a farewell that had already been accepted, like this wasn't just a loss, but something she'd already processed long before the news broke. And here's the thing. Regina doesn't post often, and when she does, it's never random. She's extremely intentional with her words, especially when it comes to death. After her son passed in 2022, she stayed silent for weeks before saying anything. And when she finally did speak, it was careful, measured, and deeply protective. Take a look at this moment, the one where she finally broke her silence.
Just feel like, I did something right in life with him,
We will never know. I don't think any of us will ever know what the truth is, And you're talking about so many different. There's so many different aspects.
So the way Regina moved here, it's not surprising. But it's definitely not normal either. And when you consider her history with Malcolm, someone she lived with, someone she trusted, you have to ask yourself, why didn't she say more? Or maybe the better question is, why couldn't she? The deeper fans started digging into what Malcolm had been working on before his death, the more suspicious everything began to feel. Because apparently, that memoir wasn't just about his story. It was about everyone else's too. He was allegedly exposing everything he'd been told to stay silent about. The parties, the closed-door deals, the victims who were never supposed to speak again. And the wildest part? Some of the very people involved are still out here, living like nothing ever happened. Reports say Malcolm had been collecting untold stories, things that never made headlines, things that could shake entire legacies if they came out. Before his death, Malcolm even opened up about how the Cosby scandal affected him personally, not just because of what was revealed, but because of who it revealed. The people he once looked up to, the ones who built his early career. Watch this clip, where he talks about just how hard that chapter really hit him.
Is a journey, I understand that grief is love that has no place to go. I know that it's important to me to honor Ian in the totality of.
There's a theory going around that Malcolm wasn't writing this book alone. According to insiders, He was working with 2 other people, both with legal backgrounds, to fact-check every single detail before publishing. That's how serious he was about getting it right. He wasn't chasing drama. He wasn't looking for attention. He was preparing to tell the truth. That's when fans started speaking up. One person commented, "It's too many stories. It's nauseating." Just like Angie Stone, I'm surprised Malcolm drowned. He was known to be a good swimmer. "Rest in heavenly peace, Malcolm," another added. "Very suspicious. Why would he be swimming in those dangerous waters with his young daughter?" Now, as most of you already know, Malcolm isn't the first, and sadly, he won't be the last. The entertainment industry has a long, disturbing history of silencing people when they start talking too much or digging too deep. We've seen this cycle before. Someone speaks up, the industry goes silent, and then, out of nowhere, that person steps back, loses everything, or ends up gone. Look at what happened to Isaac Cappy, the actor who called out Hollywood's elite before mysteriously falling off a bridge. In this next clip, one of Isaac's close friends explains why he believes Cappy didn't take his own life, and why the entire thing was staged to look like an accident.
Honestly, my biggest feeling is I feel sad for, just the way this whole just the way the whole story has come about, and when you've done so many wonderful things for so much of your career.
Now, Regina isn't just protecting herself, she's protecting the story. Her silence, her vague posts, her sudden disappearance from the public eye, it's not just mourning. It feels like fear, and honestly, you can understand why, especially after seeing what really goes on behind the scenes. Because as I mentioned earlier, she knew Malcolm better than anyone. She knew what he stood for, what he was working on, and what he planned to expose. So if she's not speaking up, if she's not demanding answers, it's probably because she already knows the cost. I mean, let's be real. People who've tried to write memoirs like this before have ended up dead under mysterious circumstances. And yes, I'm talking about what Jaguar Wright said a while back about some of the most powerful people in the industry. In case you missed it, here's that interview segment.
With Isaac Cappy, that's personal to me. Your biggest issue is that things that Aquino and his group taught me to do are fun, and I'm really good at it. Enjoy.
Now, some fans are even speculating that Regina has access to the memoir, that Malcolm may have sent her pieces of it before he died. Not for her to publish, but to keep it safe, and that could explain everything. Because if what he wrote is even half as dangerous as people are claiming, then holding on to that truth is a huge risk. One that puts her right in the center of something she never wanted to be part of again. So maybe she's not silent because she's clueless. Maybe she's silent because she's next. This whole situation with Malcolm has fans going back and re-examining other cases. The ones we brushed off, forgot, or never looked into deeply enough. People who vanished from the spotlight. People who ended up dead after threatening to go public. Some were tied to powerful families. Others had industry connections that were never fully explained. And every time the story got buried, the press moved on, and the truth never came out. Malcolm didn't want to be on that list, but now he is, and what's worse, we might never know what he was really trying to say unless somebody close to him comes forward. Maybe Regina, maybe someone in his circle, someone willing to risk everything to let the truth out. But here's the part nobody's really touched yet, and it might explain everything. According to a source close to Malcolm, the reason he delayed finishing his memoir wasn't fear, it was protection. He was trying to keep certain names safe, people who were abused, blackmailed, or used as pawns in bigger scandals, and it all makes sense. Because once he hit publish, it would have blown everything up, not just for the abusers, but for the survivors too. So he waited. He sat on the drafts. He circled around it for years, and when he finally decided to move forward, everything stopped. If that's not suspicious by now, I don't know what is, but there might still be hope. We might actually get to see what he was working on. And Regina doesn't even have to risk her life for that to happen. There are rumors that a digital copy of his manuscript still exists, maybe stored in the cloud, maybe on a drive he gave to someone he trusted. And if that's true, then this story isn't over. Every day that passes without answers is just more time for people to cover their tracks. But eventually, if that file surfaces and the names in it are real, the entire industry could collapse, and the people who've stayed silent this whole time. They won't be able to hide anymore. That's why they needed Malcolm gone. That's why they're hoping we stop asking questions. But if even one person breaks ranks and releases what he left behind, it's game over.